So you've probably heard of the European Championships, aka the Euros. And here in our region, CONCACAF, we have an equivalent of that, which is the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup is our regional championship, and it is the tournament in which it is proven who is the top dog in our region. I'm Tai Fujimura from the We the Peeps USMNT podcast, and I'm here to tell you everything that you need to know about the Gold Cup.
It's We the Peeps.
It's the third biggest trophy that the US team can win, in my opinion, behind obviously the World Cup and the Olympics. And it means a lot to hardcore US fans like myself. So the Gold Cup is always a great occasion for the US to have a strong chance at a trophy. And what's very unique about the Gold Cup compared to other international tournaments is that it is always played in the US. And this is specifically because the US has awesome infrastructure, stadiums, etc., and can support a large tournament, but also that within the US, because it's such a diverse country, there are pockets of a diaspora from all of the different countries that are playing in the Gold Cup. So whenever the Gold Cup games are played in the US, that's the best chance for the tournament to have a strong presence from the fan bases of all of the different teams. Historically, the Gold Cup has held a number of different formats, and it has had a lot of different numbers of teams. In fact, starting from 8 when it first started, now it's all the way up at 16. And the Confederation has modified or played with different experiments to fill out the teams that are going to compete in the Gold Cup. And you might expect that these would only be teams from the CONCACAF region, and that would make a lot of sense. But actually, historically, there have also been invited teams from other regions, like Brazil, for instance, who played in the Gold Cup as well. And the incentive for that is usually money, because if Brazil is in the Gold Cup, that means we're going to get a certain, bump in our TV ratings and the attendance to the games and so on. And for a country like Brazil, it gives them more exposure in the US media market, so that's always a good thing. This time around in 2021, we have Qatar actually joining the Gold Cup from the Asian Confederation. And the reason why they in particular are interested in playing in a tournament like the Gold Cup is that they automatically qualify for the next World Cup because they are hosting the next World Cup. So they don't need to qualify for that tournament, which means they don't have a lot of competitive games between now and that World Cup. So Qatar is a really good team, and they want to stay sharp and build their squad ahead of that World Cup. And so they are using this Gold Cup as invited guests as a way to prepare. And it should be really exciting and interesting to see them compete with the teams from the CONCACAF region and see how they compare. The Gold Cup is held every 2 years, as opposed to the World Cup and the European Championship, which are held every 4 years. And that has typically created a little bit of tension when it comes to the club teams that these players play for, because every 2 years is pretty frequent for a tournament, and tournament soccer really takes a lot out of the players. It really demands a lot of them. There's a lot of travel, especially for the guys who play overseas. And so that has created some tension between the national team programs and the clubs where the players play frequently. And the traditional compromise to that has been that every other year, the biggest teams in CONCACAF take kind of a B team to the Gold Cup. So every 4 years, there's kind of an A-team Gold Cup where everybody's bringing their top selection. And then the subsequent Gold Cup will be a little bit more toned down, where you see more up-and-coming players and more players who are kind of on the fringes of the regular national squads. The last iteration of the Gold Cup in 2019 was one of those A-team Gold Cups. So everybody brought their top team. And the US made it to the final of that tournament. Unfortunately, did not win that tournament. We lost 1-0 to Mexico. And so this tournament in 2021 was scheduled to be kind of a B team Gold Cup, and that's what the US has done. So the US has a squad of very young domestic players who are just kind of breaking into the team. It should be super exciting to watch and see how they fit into the structure that the US team has been doing. However, The rest of the confederation seems to have been on a different wavelength, and so a lot of the teams are bringing much more stronger squads, including Mexico. So the Mexican team has a lot of their top players, and it's going to be a really tough fight to see if this young U.S. squad can compete with a much more mature and experienced Mexican team. The reason that there's so much kind of confusion and unusual stuff going on with this Gold Cup is obviously the coronavirus pandemic. So the pandemic has forced a lot of soccer to be taking place in a very short amount of time because there was a lull in activity last summer and last fall as teams, leagues, and international tournaments kind of had to take a break for a while. And so there's been a lot of tournaments compressed into this summer and into the fall, and that has included two key CONCACAF competitions. You have the Nations League, which has been running up until last month, and you have World Cup qualifying, which is starting in September. And the Gold Cup is kind of squeezed in between those two, and that's one of the reasons why the U.S. in particular has decided to bring a more kind of up-and-coming squad, because they don't want to overextend or make the star top players super tired by playing in all these tournaments in consecutive order around their already intensive club commitments. The Gold Cup has a very long and exciting history. It was started in 1991. And before 1991, there wasn't really a flagship tournament for the CONCACAF region. So you had different iterations of a championship. Often that would kind of be combined with World Cup qualifying. So the same tournament would serve both as the championship of our region and also the tournament for qualifying for the World Cup. And that's no longer the case. The World Cup qualifying process is now a separate competition that runs over the course of a little less than a year. And so the decision was made back in 1991 that we needed to have a flagship tournament in which the top dog in CONCACAF would be chosen and proven on the field. Now, the history of the Gold Cup in terms of success obviously has been weighted towards the US and Mexico, are the two biggest teams in the region. Mexico has won 8 Gold Cups and the US has won 6, and Canada snuck in there and won in 2000. Congratulations, Canada, breaking up the duopoly. But since in the last 10 Gold Cups, that has actually been evenly split between the US and Mexico, so 5-5. So while the early era of the Gold Cup was dominated much more by Mexico, it's been a much tighter competition ever since. And it's a great opportunity for us to see how we stack up against our big rival. Typically, the final is between the US and Mexico. It's an exception when that's not the case. And that's the kind of game that I get super excited for and really look forward to seeing every 2 years. So you might be wondering kind of how the Gold Cup differs from the CONCACAF Nations League, which you may have seen on TV a couple of months ago, where the US actually came out victorious and beat Mexico in that final. So the Gold Cup is a one-off tournament that runs in a very succinct period of time, just a couple weeks. Whereas the Nations League is kind of a long-running competition that runs over the course of a full year in a typical circumstance. And the Nations League was kind of just instituted immediately prior, essentially, to the coronavirus pandemic. So the first iteration of the Nations League took 2.5 years because it had this giant break in between. But in the future, what you'll see is you'll have the Nations League kind of running during the year, and you'll have Gold Cups running specifically in the summer in a specific time slot. And for me, the Gold Cup is the much more important tournament, but that's partially just because it's been around longer. So over time, maybe the Nations League will elevate to be just as important as the Gold Cup for US fans. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the equivalent tournament that the women's national team has, our incredible US women's national team. They also play in a CONCACAF championship, but their tournament actually occurs every 4 years, and it is combined with World Cup qualifying. So the tournament, basically, whoever advances to a certain stage of the tournament gets to claim the World Cup qualifying slots for CONCACAF in the Women's World Cup. Thank you so much for joining me to learn about the Gold Cup. Again, I'm Ty Fujimura from the We the Peeps podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Anytime there's a Gold Cup on, including this summer, we are going to be talking about it in great detail, going over every moment of the U.S. matches and following the U.S. as we try to win another trophy. So you can follow us on there, follow us on Twitter, and we hope to hear from you soon. Feel free to ask questions in the comments below. You can add us on Twitter, whatever you got to do. We're happy to chop it up with you, answer your questions, and hope to help you along in your journey to U.S. national team fandom. Thank you very much.
It's We the Peeps. Welcome to We the Peeps. Are you ready for We the Peeps? Holy moly, it's We the Peeps.